Have you ever wanted to witness the miraculous and walk where saints have walked? This is your chance. Join me, Lori Balderas, host of Fresh Catholic Podcast, and Father Matthew Miguel, as we walk with you through Italy's most sacred sites. From the Eucharistic miracles of Lanciano and Orvieto to the peace of Assisi, your heart will be transformed by these extraordinary moments of grace. You'll walk the hallowed streets of Rome, step into the history of the Vatican, and witness the places where faith has flourished for centuries. Each stop deepens your journey. Each miracle renews your soul. We invite you to join us on an unforgettable, life-changing experience.
Join us and let your faith come alive in Italy.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lori Balderas and I'm so happy you're here. Well, I'm super excited today because I have not one guest, but two, and I'm going to mention them in 1 second, but this is why you want to stay tuned today. I haven't had a guest in so long, so I'm very excited. Also, I wanted to say that our episode today is about our pilgrimage to Italy in September of this year. I'm so excited. It's a dream come true for me. And I have partnered with Trinity Tour Travels and Father Matthew Miguel, and we are headed to Italy. So that's what this episode is about today. There is going to be what do I want to call it? A combination. We have a episode by Charles Merritt, one of his series on the Jubilee year. So it kind of partners with this episode today. So that will be coming out very soon, so you can get an idea of what is the Jubilee year. Why is that important? What does that have to do with our pilgrimage? So I hope you will listen today and also listen to Charles' series on that. So with that being said, I would like to introduce my guests today. My first guest is Kayla Banning. She is with Trinity Tour Travels, and she has been a delight to work with. And also Father Matthew Miguel, who's one of my favorite priests in the entire world. So he is going with us on this pilgrimage. I couldn't be more happy about that. So anyway, I would like to introduce my guests. Thank you for coming today, you guys. Oh my gosh, I just can't believe this. You're practically in my own studio, even though, Kayla, where are you in the world today?
I'm in Houston, Texas for my godson's baptism, actually. So I'm from Dallas.
And Kayla is going to have a baby soon. And so I appreciate you coming when I know you are really, probably pooped out already.
I am getting definitely more pregnant all the time.
I know. I love it. What a blessing. And Father, where are you in the world today?
Right now, I'm in St. Joseph in La Puente. And right now, it's actually pretty cloudy and rainy on this side of LA.
Oh my gosh. And we need rain. So thank you, Lord, for that. Anyway, I appreciate you guys taking time out today to do this episode with me. We did an information meeting at Father Matthew's parish. I'm trying to even remember when that was. It's been a blur. I feel like it was before the holidays. And so Kayla, you flew out here to do that, and we really appreciated that. But I have to remember that, we are in 68 countries now with Fresh Catholic and over 1,200 cities. And so to have somebody actually come in person is a lot to ask, especially, right at holiday time. So that's why I wanted to open this up today so that my listeners realize that we are including in this pilgrimage all my listeners, not just to this area, not just in California, certainly. So that's one of the beautiful things about our partnership is that we wanted to be sure that all my listeners could be included. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate that today. And also I wanted to say to my listeners that Father Matthew went on a pilgrimage last fall to the very similar places that we will be going this year. So now I feel like we sent out Father Matthew on an exploratory pilgrimage so that now when we go on ours, he can, already have a sense of what he's done. So one of the things I'd like to do today, Kayla, is have you explain to my listeners kind of an overview of the pilgrimage, what we will be doing, what we will be seeing, why people would want to go on this pilgrimage, and then we can kind of talk about some costs. And then Father, feel free to chime in if you have some things you want to say. And then when Kayla's finished, maybe you could even tell us some more about your adventures when you went on your pilgrimage. So Kayla, tell us some things that you think are really important for the future pilgrims to know about this pilgrimage.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, other than the fact that you get to go with Lori and Father Matthew, who are absolutely incredible people, it's been such an honoring gift to get to work with you both. You're going during the year of Jubilee. You're going to Italy. That's just going to be one of the most beautiful, remarkable places to be. You're also going in September and into October. So September 29th to October 9th of this year. And it is an incredible time to go. It's not as hot anymore. The crowds aren't as crowded. You're still going through all the holy doors. You're getting to go during the year of Jubilee where everybody's called to make a pilgrimage of some sort, which I'm sure you guys will talk about more on the other podcast that you're going to do, the series. And so it is an incredible year to really put yourself in a position where you're saying, I'm not going to take a vacation necessarily, but I'm going on a pilgrimage. I'm going on a spiritual journey with the Lord. And I get to do it through this beautiful avenue, supporting this beautiful ministry. And getting to go with you guys. So that's one of the most incredible reasons why we see so many people excited for the year of Jubilee, first of all. So that's a great, great thing. We're excited for it being the year of Jubilee, especially. So kind of an overview of what is a pilgrimage, where are we going on this specific pilgrimage? So this is called our Eucharistic Miracles and Shrines of Italy pilgrimage. So you get to see a ton of the Eucharistic miracles and shrines of Italy, obviously, when you're on this pilgrimage. So you start off, you're going in Rome, you're going to all the major basilicas, you're going through the Vatican, Vatican museums, Sistine Chapel. You get to have an audience with the Pope. So you're getting his blessing, getting to experience Rome at the year of Jubilee, which is just the epicenter of so much fun, goodness, faith-filled action as well. So you're walking around getting to experience Rome, Italy at its fullest there. And then we go to other places like Assisi, San Giovanni Rotondo, which is where Padre Pio comes from, which, Father, I'll ask you in a little bit. I know that you really love Padre Pio, so I want to talk to you about that. But you get to go to Laredo and Lanciano and different places as well where Eucharistic miracles have occurred. And we get to go and see those specific areas, those specific relics that are still available to us. Not only that, but we're having daily mass. We're getting to have the sacraments. Sometimes we hear of pilgrimage groups, like some of our pilgrimages are like, yeah, we did confession on the back of the bus, because they wanted to make sure they got in that sacrament, which is so incredible that the hearts are just brought to life and set on fire when you go on pilgrimage. And so that's one of our big things with Trinity Tour Travels is that we really want to help you have a faith-filled experience, and especially during this year of Jubilee, but we really, really strive to make those moments very, very special for you and give you all the tools and all the things to have that beautiful experience. So that's a little bit of the overview of kind of the trip. So
Well, and to put a little pause on that, you know, just hearing what you're saying, I'm getting chills. Not just because I'm chilly, but because I'm just like I'm so excited because to me this is just such an important thing to be doing. Like you could go lay on a beach any time of the like any vacation. This is something where this is just so meaningful and life-changing. I'm anticipating that that's what it's going to
Mhm.
be. Just hearing you talk about it, it's not the ordinary thing that you typically, even if you go to Italy and you're just vacationing in Italy, it wouldn't
Mhm.
be the same feeling, I wouldn't imagine. I mean, I've never been to Italy, but this is kind of the way that I imagine going and just making it just this
Mhm.
incredible, again, life-changing thing that I would never be able to replicate, just by going and eating some pasta and hanging out. You kind of get to do that and get to, have this beautiful side of it. So, that's what I'm
Absolutely.
excited about.
Yeah, I've got to do, thankfully in my in my experience, I've got to do both, just travel around Italy and go on pilgrimages. I used to be a high school youth minister, so I took some of my students on pilgrimages, and there is such a transformative spiritual journey that you go on, not only within your own heart, but you're also going as a community. And that's something that we really love to tell groups going on pilgrimages is like you come back and you really gain a beautiful community if you allow that. Obviously, the Lord is asking for that. So you're spending, 11 days with these people and you're going and you're doing hard work of, seeing different places, walking different places, having these experiences and you grow so much as a community as well. Where people are always excited to be like, oh, we actually met my significant other on a pilgrimage, or we became best friends and now we travel with this other couple all the time, or, I'm always going to go back with this pilgrimage group because I love them and we always have so much fun going together. And so groups come together and are spiritually transformed not only by themselves, but together as a group too. And so that's a really, really cool thing to have that community, and going on pilgrimage. So
Father, did you find that on your pilgrimage that it was just an overwhelming thing for the group to participate in this, where it wasn't just their everyday worship, it was something different? Did you notice like a change in people throughout the pilgrimage that you went on last fall?
Yes, definitely. I do remember when I was just in conversation with some of the pilgrims who were with us, is that this was their first pilgrimage, and it was absolutely not what they expected at all. They thought they were just gonna visit some, churches, but they were so blessed to receive the sacraments daily. Myself and Father Leon made ourselves available for confessions, and we had mass daily. And throughout the spiritual experiences in the different pilgrim sites, we were able to put our input and also reflect, have those spiritual reflections where the saints were, and share about their life story. And at the end of the pilgrimage, of course, we tried to get their feedback, and you can just see the glow on their faces. They were very content and very at peace. Yes, it was very exhausting and a lot of walking, but when we make these sacrifices more meaningful, they see that the pilgrimage was well worth the walks and the early morning rising and the traveling different places. But we of course made it a very spiritual experience for the pilgrims during the journey.
Well, that's beautiful. And I feel that way too, where it's like, to me, this is such a concentrated time that you just, I'm anticipating, I just want to give it everything I have because I want to be sure that I get the most out of it that I can. My concern, honestly, I'm okay, because I am disabled. So I am a little concerned about you know, uh, the strenuous part of it. But I got a new cane to that's a more stable cane, which Monsignor at our church gave me a cane, which I really appreciated. That's
Mhm.
more stable for my pilgrimage because my cane is not the one I use currently. Um, but I'll tell you what I'm concerned about is I think I'm just going to cry the whole time. I'm like such a weeper. I went to visit a church yesterday, a local church that I've never been to. I walked in, it was so overwhelmingly beautiful. I just started crying and I thought, oh, I'm never going to make it through this pilgrimage. I'm going to just be crying all the time because I just get overwhelmed with my love of the
Mm.
Lord and just anything that has to do with building up my faith. It's very emotional to me. So I hope I'm not just a sloppy mess the whole time. Either that or I'm going to be so filled with joy that I won't be able to stop smiling. I kind of hope that's the route.
We'll bring you lots of tissues, don't worry. Make sure the people around you have tissues as well.
I know. Oh my gosh. So, what else, Kayla? What else did you maybe want to tell us some bullet points about it, or like
Yeah,
if we're all
absolutely.
traveling, let's say my guests, I mean my listeners from all over the world want to meet. Everybody they can come from their own place,
Yeah.
and we meet
Mhm.
in Rome, correct?
Right, right. So, no matter what city you're in, no matter where you're at in the world, one of the options is choosing to do. We can either book your flights for you, or you can do land only. So that's kind of the logistic side that we can take care of that for you. Or if you want to meet us in Rome, and start the pilgrimage there, or a lot of people are always like, Kayla, can I come before or stay after? And I always like, absolutely, like, let us know. So you're working directly with me the entire time. So, Trinity Tour Travels is a small family-owned business where we give lots of time and lots of effort, and are all very, very like come from very Catholic backgrounds of high school youth minister or directors or different areas in the Catholic Church that have come together and found a love for pilgrimages. And so we absolutely have been on the side where we're planning the pilgrimage. So we really take time with everybody who comes to us and says, "Hey, we're wanting to do XYZ." So we love those times that we can get to help people get to a pilgrimage that maybe they're not coming from, LA, which is kind of the main hub of the trip. And so people can come from wherever. You just let me know and we'll go from there. So that's a very important part. Thank you for bringing that up, Lori.
Okay, excellent. And then I do know that because the pilgrimage is coming up in September, we have a
Yeah.
date where we have to kind of like get this thing going with
Yep.
everybody, because time's ticking, people. I mean,
Yeah.
before the holidays, everybody's in that mindset, and then we decided we would kind of get through the holidays, and then we would have this episode because
Mm.
people need to make a decision because we want to be sure that we know who's going, and so that then
Absolutely.
we can start making bigger and better plans. So
Yeah.
how does that, what's the timeline on that, and what's required, and what do they, tell us some things about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the logistics side of things is that we have to definitely start letting the airlines, the hotels, everybody know, are we doing this? What's going? What size group are we taking as well? And so that's really, really important that people start registering if this is something that you're interested in and want to know more about. You can go and download a brochure or contact me and I can send you more information. I can send you our informational meeting that gives you really, really all the specific detail of the pilgrimage, walks through the itinerary day by day. Um, but yeah, that date is coming up when the last time somebody can register is in June, and that's like the final cutoff. That's when we'll no longer be able to take more people on the trip. Which sounds far away, but in the pilgrimage world, that is coming up super, super quickly. Because it takes time to get your passports or renew your passports or make sure that you have all the things in a row and that you can set up a payment plan or that kind of stuff. So it definitely is one of those things that if you are considering it, praying about it, you have all of us to be able to talk to about it. And so we encourage you to go do that sooner than later. That also, so we can know who all is wanting, and we're praying for those people by name to come on that trip and have a beautiful experience. So that is definitely what is going into registration. Kind of a little bit more of what are the trip details, kind of the logistics things, like I was talking about, people can hear more about on the informational meeting. or if they want to check out the website, the We Travel website, which is where you can go see the itinerary, the payment plan, how much everything, what goes into everything. But just kind of a quick overview of that information is that um, we at Trinity try to include everything, so that way it's like an all-inclusive, you're paying one fee, and then you have very little that you have to worry about when you go on pilgrimage. Because we want people to be fully immersed and fully in that moment, and they're not having to worry about a bunch of different things. So, we do airfare, hotels, ground accommodations, your gratuities. You have a Catholic tour guide the entire time with you. So you have somebody telling you, walking with you, getting to tell you the schedule, all that kind of stuff. But then you have also tour guides at specific locations that are going through their specific things. So you go to San Giovanni Rotondo, you have a specific tour guide there. You have a bus driver, you have all your taxes, all your gratuities paid. Really the only thing that we don't cover is lunches and travel insurance, which at the end of the day, you really don't have to worry about a whole lot. You don't have to take a lot of cash over there, which is something people always ask about too. So we try to make that as all inclusive as possible because we want you just to have a seamless experience and really focus on spending time with the Lord and with your group, and taking in that pilgrimage.
Well,
So,
and I
yeah.
think that's really good information to know because you do want to be focused on the
Mhm.
important part of this trip. You don't want to be
Yeah.
thinking, "Oh my gosh, what's happening? Where are we supposed to be going? What are we supposed to be doing?" Everything's taken care of and you can have that focus. Did you find that to be really good on your pilgrimage, Father, where you could just go and immerse yourself in what you were doing?
Definitely. I mean, I was very appreciative of the fact that we did have also a Catholic tour guide throughout the whole journey from beginning to end. And luckily, he had a lot of connections. And so he had some surprises for us. Like he took us to some churches that had all reliquaries of saints. And we were able to venerate the saints and um, we also were able to, have like a cultural experience from, in Italy. So we were able to have like a personal class on how to make pasta.
Boom.
So, the tour guides were very helpful. And, if we had any questions or any worries, they were able to provide the answers and make sure that we had no fear or worries once we were in Italy.
That's
Mm.
good. Also, I wanted to mention that if you go to our website, freshcatholic.com, that's a good way to get in, and there's links there to click to go see more about the itinerary and all those things, ways to contact Kayla. So, head over to freshcatholic.com so you can, it's front and center when you go there. It's like, you can't miss it. And one of the things, Kayla, that I really like about Trinity Tour Travels is I think the way you present the pilgrimage, like the
Mm.
photographs, just it's very simple to get an understanding of what's happening. I really appreciate that. It helps to I'm a visual person. It helps me to visualize going on this pilgrimage. And I feel like the deposit is a reasonable deposit. And that's something,
Mm.
it's not like out of the realm. And I do feel like, if people need to make payments, although it's kind of coming down to it now,
Yeah.
I think that's really a nice factor of it. And the
Yeah.
other thing that I also love about Trinity Tour Travels, of course, I don't know what other travel companies are doing. I'm more focused on this travel company. But when Simon and I met with you and Eddie, the owner, just
Mhm.
his passion of why has this tour company
Mm.
and what the side of it that's helping others with these pilgrimages. Can you tell the listeners what Eddie's vision is and
Yeah.
how you help others in Bethlehem, correct?
Yes, yeah. So Eddie and Dunya, his wife, are the owners of Trinity Tour Travels. They started about 15 years ago, taking people to the Holy Land because they are originally from Bethlehem. So they grew up in Bethlehem, and then through all of the um, hard times, their families moved over here. And so they came to the United States. Their families did olive wood carvings, and so that's really what their families do. Eddie's parents still travel to the United States. Eddie travels to the United States, to going and doing olive wood carving, selling them at churches and stuff like that, all over. And so all that money that they gave back to the Christians in the Holy Land. And so when they started Trinity Tour Travels, they were really looking at what are ways that we can support Christians in the Holy Land, and a huge part is tourism. And so they really started bringing people over to the Holy Land. And then a few years ago, we started really expanding, going to Europe, saying like, "Hey, there's so many other places." People, pilgrimage groups kept coming back and saying, "Hey, we want to go somewhere else. We want to go somewhere new. We want to go somewhere new." And so really the heart of it is that all of the trips that we ever go on, part of the proceeds go back to persecuted Christians in the Holy Land. Specifically through a foundation, we have one called Caritas that we partner with, and it's a baby surgical hospital in Bethlehem. So they don't have that. They don't have a children's hospital, and so we really have partnered with them to make sure that those kids are getting the need that they really need without having to drive 3 or 4 hours away to be able to get the help that they need. So, yeah, that's one of the big things is partnering with Trinity. We always give back to the Christians in the Holy Land, to Caritas, to different groups like that. And Eddie and Junior just have the biggest hearts in the world, and they really, I mean, that's their passion. They see we all see this as a ministry, um, and we want to give back to those that really truly need it. And we know how much a pilgrimage not only changes the lives who go on the pilgrimage, but the lives of those who we're able to impact by giving financially to them too. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. Father, what are some of the things that stood out to you on your pilgrimage that you just you thought for yourself was life changing, or that you um, noticed the other pilgrims? What did you think was like the highlights of your trip?
Well, first of all, it was my first experience going to Italy as a priest. I've been to Italy several times as a missionary, but not as a priest, and as a spiritual director leading a group to Italy. And so, um, I guess one of my highlights overall in my experience in Italy was San Giovanni Rotondo. I just remember, Father Leon asked me to celebrate mass for the pilgrims. It was Sunday morning at a small side chapel of Padre Pio, and so we were just celebrating mass, and we saw the confessional of Saint Padre Pio. And by the time the tour guide was just giving us the tour of the whole place, I just was just caught off guard, and I was asking the tour guide like I was celebrating mass at the side chapel, and she was telling me that is the same altar where Saint Padre Pio celebrated all his masses when he was still alive. And I was just, overwhelmed. And, just to know that I celebrated mass where Saint Padre Pio had his stigmata and was celebrating masses for his community at the same place, I was just overwhelmed. It was very grace filled, and I was very humbled. Just the fact that I'm a priest and I was sharing in his priesthood of Jesus Christ, and to be there with the pilgrims and offer mass for them, and even see his body there, in the lower crypt. It was an absolutely memorable experience for myself, and yeah, it was a huge blessing. And just walking in the area in the evening, we would have a beautiful candlelight procession of
Mhm.
our Blessed Mother, and just see hundreds of people in the faith at night holding their candles and serenading hymns to our Blessed Mother was absolutely inspiring and beautiful. Honestly, I always tell the kids that I'm a mama's boy to our Blessed Mother, And I always attribute my vocation to our Blessed Mother. And whenever we have candlelight processions for Our Lady, I'm always there. And, she is, my mother, and she is the protector of my vocation. And so it was just a beautiful experience at San Giovanni Rotondo just to, pray with the pilgrims, not just our pilgrim group, but everyone else from all over the world. And yeah, it was just something that I would never forget. And I think that in the different places where we were, when we were in Rome, we had special access to the crypt of
Mhm.
St. Peter. And so we went underneath the Vatican and were able to celebrate Mass where St. Peter, the chair of St. Peter was. And just knowing that he was the first pope and how the Catholic faith was just passed on to him. You can just see how the tradition and the faith was just so alive in Italy. You see a lot of shrines, a lot of basilicas, a lot of incorrupt saints. And so like you said before,
Mhm.
Lori, that you just get overwhelmed by just the holiness, the sense of reverence wherever you're walking in Italy.
Well, and I think that, when you see photos of things or videos of things and you're not there, but you're just
Mhm.
going, "Oh my gosh, this is so amazing." And then when you're actually there, it's like seeing a work of art. Simon and I have gone, we really like to go to art museums, and I used to
Mhm.
study art, and I would be like, "Oh, I love this painting." And then I'd be in front of it and I'd be going, "I can't believe like it's the actual, it's overwhelming." So I'm thinking this is going to be times 20 for me. That I'm going
Right.
to go to these places. Or like you're saying, Father, you're celebrating Mass where Padre Pio celebrated Mass. So like you're touching the altar, you're doing these things that he actually touched. It's wild to me. It's
Mhm.
like, I think that's so amazing. You can't help but be
Mhm.
overwhelmed by it, or just like it can't help but be life changing.
Mhm. Mm.
So, I mean, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to is just like actually seeing something in real life, because I don't know,
Mhm.
what a bigger gift that could be than to actually go experience that.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
and then Father, what's something that you didn't get to do on your last pilgrimage that you're hoping to do on this pilgrimage? Besides have
Well,
a super fun time with me.
Honestly, Lori, I'm very excited to witness and see firsthand the Eucharistic miracles. I remember when I was a youth in my youth group, we would always talk about Eucharistic miracles, and I would always read and see pictures of the miracle at Lanciano.
Mhm.
And as a teenager growing up, that was one thing that was very difficult for many people, even young people, to comprehend and understand the true presence of our Lord in the Eucharist. And, just knowing that going to this pilgrimage in the fall and able to, witness that myself, this is proof. This
Mhm.
is evidence that God made himself, humbled himself to be in the form of bread and wine. And, you know, um, you see the actual blood and, the miracle itself there. And so, that I'm very excited for this coming pilgrimage to see that, and also I believe in the other shrine in Orviano as well.
Mhm.
All right, that's
Absolutely.
that's awesome. Let me see where we're at on time. Is there I'm trying to think if I have any other questions. I don't know. Let's see. Kayla, is there anything you wanted to say that you haven't got to say yet?
I was just gonna say, I was thinking about it, and we've like why we go on pilgrimage is a huge spiritual journey. We said that a bajillion times. You get told that, you have that experience. But something else that makes me just so incredibly excited is that you are going to Italy and you're experiencing the culture of Italy, and it is beautiful and wonderful. You're eating pasta, you're drinking wine, like you're like in a foreign country having so much fun with these group of people too. And that is like, to be taken into account. Like, it is incredibly, different than the United States, and so you're going, drinking cappuccinos, drinking wine, eating good food, like, getting to see, and speak in Italian with Italian people, like, it is just the culture is absolutely stunning. You get to eat lots of gelato. That's something that I always get to do when I go to Italy. So, just also getting to have that cultural experience is something that is such a gift that the Lord gives us. And bringing, I think Father said this, or you did, Lori, but bringing our sacrifices in that way, um, and bringing our hearts to the Lord in such an incredible journey through a pilgrimage. So, yeah.
Well, my father was full Italian, and he was a world traveler, and yet somehow never went to Italy until he was 75 years old. And my mother said when he was in Italy around our family, he found his family there. My mom said she's never seen him happier than when he was in
Mhm.
Italy. And it always
Mhm.
broke my heart that he never went back, because I thought,
Mm.
gosh, I think that's so sad that, he only went one time. I don't know why that was, but
Yeah.
but then I'm also happy to know that when he was there, he was the happiest he'd ever been. And my
Mhm.
brother purchased a house there a year or two ago in the village where my grandfather was raised. And my brother,
Wow.
even though he's not Catholic, when he's at his house in Italy, he goes to the church where my grandfather
Mm.
attended mass. And my brother will text me knowing I'm so devout, and he'll say, I'm in grandpa's church. And my
Mm.
brother finds peace in that church, which is beautiful. I'm going to
Mhm.
convert that guy. No,
Yeah.
I don't know if I will, but I just love that my brother, has that connection. And
Mhm.
I don't want to say I'm jealous of my brother that he gets to live in Italy, but I know he loves it there, or he wouldn't have purchased a
Yeah.
house there. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to go see where my ancestors are from, and,
Mhm.
be able to be around the people that do this a lot.
A lot of this hand movement. A lot of that. You'll come back going like this all the time. I still do it. I still do it.
I'm gonna get Simon Balderas to do it, because he
Mhm.
makes fun of some of my I'm too passionate for him sometimes. Anyway, but anyway, I think that's beautiful. And then, Father, do you have anything that you would like to add, or anything you would like to say that you haven't got to say yet about what we're trying to do here?
Well, one thing that I saw that was beautiful after my pilgrimage is that we made connections. God is a God of relationship and a God of communion, and it's just amazing to see the strong bonds and relationships that continues after the pilgrimage. We had pilgrims from New Zealand, from Australia, from different parts of America, and now, honestly, I'm friends with them on Instagram or Facebook. And when we had the fires going on here the past few weeks here in California, I would say like majority of them reached out to me and they were very concerned. They're like, Father Matthew, is everything okay at your parish? Rest assured you're in our prayers. And I really appreciate that because I have friends all over the world now. And this is one thing that you will also experience for those pilgrims who will join us. You will make beautiful connections, beautiful relationships, friendships with people you've never met before. And I believe they will be long lasting relationships. Um, yeah, it'll be a beautiful experience, and this is something exciting for everyone to experience. And one thing that we would stress, of course, is that this year we've said it before that it is the year of the Jubilee. The theme is Pilgrims of Hope, and this happens every 25 years. And if not now, when? This is a just great opportunity for you to have that spiritual experience, to go through the holy doors, to receive that plenary indulgence that's given throughout this year. And the next time's gonna happen is another 25 years. And who knows what's gonna happen in the next 25 years. And so if you really feel called and are really discerning and praying about joining this pilgrimage, I think now is the time. And, rest assured that Lori, Kayla, and I are praying for you for your discernment, that you may have that push to really go on this spiritual retreat and to have that personal connection, that renewal, that transformation with the Lord.
Beautiful. Also, before I forget, we will be recording the Fresh Catholic podcast on this pilgrimage, and we're filming a documentary because we want to just capture people's, reactions, responses, how they're feeling in the moment. I think it's a beautiful way to document how important these pilgrimages are and how, again, life changing they can be. And I'm just so looking forward to it. And I just, I really am hoping people make this decision that this is something that's going to be an important part of their life story in the book of their life. Because again, you can travel anywhere at any time, you can see whatever, whenever, but this is just something that's very specific and that, you can't help but get a lot out of it. So anyway, I really appreciate you both taking time to come today. And I can't wait to hear which one of my listeners are coming on this trip. I'd love to meet, my listeners in person. So maybe they're right under my nose and I don't even know it. I have a guest coming up that I thought he was in a whole other area, and he emailed me back and he said, I think we're in the same area. We have the same area code. And sure enough, he's in Camarillo and we're in
Oh
Benton.
my goodness. Right down the road.
What a small world. Anyway, so anyway, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm so excited. And again, thank you for coming today. Thank you to all my listeners who are listening today, and please sign up. Can't wait to see who's going. Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Love you. Bye.